So you've completed a manuscript, and now you're scared that someone is going to steal your work. Let's talk about copyright and protecting your interest as a writer. In this lesson, we're going to go through the process of writing, claiming, and registering a copyright, with registering a copyright being the thing that protects your legal interest. There being a public record that you have registered a copyright for a particular work that you've written. Before we get started, something I want to impress on you is that a copyright is for something that exists, something that has been created, whether it's a digital file on a computer or the pages of a story. So let us jump into the lesson. Let's find out what a copyright is, when it is established, how to claim it for your manuscript, and how to register it, bearing in mind that registering a copyright costs money. A copyright provides legal protection for literary works, and copyright rights for your book are automatically created as you write it. When it goes from idea to creation, something that exists, it is automatically created. The copyright, that is. There's nothing like an international copyright. Each country has its own copyright law that operates within its borders. The United States copyright law governs works published in the United States. Canada copyright law governs works published in Canada. Similarly, Trinidad and Tobago copyright law, that's the island where I live, our copyright law governs works published in Trinidad and Tobago. What happens if I live in Trinidad and I write a book that is published in the United States? Is there a way that I could register my copyright? Few countries other than the United States have any form of copyright registration. There are a couple of steps involved in copywriting. We'll go through these steps shortly. There's something called the Berne Convention for the Protection of Literary and Artistic Works. And this was established in 1886 and deals with the protection of works and the rights of their authors. If you published your creative work in a foreign country that is signatory to an international convention like the Berne Convention, your creative work is automatically entitled to copyright protection in the United States. I should repeat that. If you published your creative work in a foreign country that is signatory to an international convention like the Berne Convention, your creative work is automatically entitled to copyright protection in the United States. For example, I live in Trinidad and Tobago, and Trinidad and Tobago signed the Berne Convention in 1988. I am automatically the owner of all the copyright rights in works I create. So this gives me the exclusive right to reproduce, distribute, perform, or display a work or adapt it into new works. Just by it existing, and just by being part of a country that is signatory to the Berne Convention, these are things that I am entitled to. Is your country a signatory to the Berne Convention? And you could log on to your preferred search engine and search for which countries signed the Berne Convention. The copyright process involves 3 steps. Write, claim, those are 3 steps. And then there's register. And if you want to register your copyright in the US, that isn't free. You pay for that. Let's deal with the first 2 items on the list, write and claim. Write is when you've written the work. You've taken it from an idea to a completed story that exists digitally or on paper. To claim a copyright, you've included a copyright notice on a copyright page. In an earlier lesson, when we formatted our front matter for our book, we included a copyright page. In the raw files folder that comes with this course, there is a copyright template that you could use. So once you have included that copyright page, you have claimed your copyright. And claiming a copyright takes a certain format. The copyright symbol, or the word copyright. Second item is your name. And the third item is the year of publication. At the bottom, we have the copyright symbol, followed by my name, and the year 2024. Let's talk about registering the copyright. This part, it isn't free, but many writers choose to register their works because they wish to have the facts of their copyright on a public record, and they want to have a certificate of registration. So you're willing to go the distance to protect your interest beyond having a copyright page. We'll talk about where to register your copyright in a bit. Let's talk about when you should register it. You should register your book's copyright when your book's final draft is finished and ready for publication, but before you start the publishing process. So let's assume for a second that you were searching for a traditional publisher. And searching for a traditional publisher involves sending out samples of your manuscript, whether it's the entire manuscript or part of it. Before you send out your manuscript, that would be a good time to register your copyright, because you've already written the work and you've already claimed it, but now you're going to put out your manuscript in a public space. So you register your copyright. As I mentioned, you must have registered a copyright before you can file a copyright infringement lawsuit. If you are registering your copyright with the US Copyright Office, this copywriting process could take about 6 to 13 months to completely register. And these registered works are eligible for damages and attorney's fees in successful litigation. As a non-US citizen, can you register for a copyright? You can. As a non-US citizen that is part of one of the treaty or signatory countries to the Berne Convention, yes, you can claim a copyright. You can also register a copyright with the US Copyright Office at copyright.gov. If you visit copyright.gov, you would find tutorials on how to register a copyright for literary works. The website includes video tutorials on how to submit a standard application. So if you would like to protect your interest by registering a copyright, you could do so at the United States Copyright Office.